When I entered into that one, I already had a mindset that, you know what, I'm really not tripping. It was kind of like I loved her, but I had one emotional foot in the door, one emotional foot out the door, because guess what? I done already went to court now. I know exactly what court I'm gonna be at. I know exactly what judge I'm gonna be in front of. I don't even need to hire an attorney. You know why? Because I already know what the attorney gonna say. Why pay another, watch this, mouthpiece to speak for me when I already know what you're gonna say now? A lot of couples, they love each other. Okay. But there's no kindness in that relationship. Think about it. Every relationship that is having turbulence right now as we speak.
I can think about me.
Every relationship that has turbulence has the one thing in common. They have love most of the time, unless they're at the point where they hate each other. But they didn't originally get there. So there was a point where you loved each other. But the absence of the kindness, you're not drawn to each other. Just like if you believe that God loves you, but you think he's not kind to you, how close would you be to God? That's what made the difference, brother. I enjoyed being home. You know how many men park in
Yes.
we're both men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to take the long way home. And it's not because, for me, it was because I knew I wasn't showing up at home.
Yeah.
So I stayed while I was celebrated. All right, guys, let's get it. Welcome to the Dear Son Show. We have meaningful conversations about life through the lens of fatherhood. It is for fathers, those with fathers, and the fatherless, so nobody's left out. These are the conversations I want my sons to access as they grow through life into manhood, so no topics are off limits. Today, I'm your only host. Well, we got an amazing guest. I'm saying that people are flying in for the show. I know he was here for something else, but the story is he flew in for the show. Well, he flew in and he's on the show. My guy, Patrick Murphy, welcome to the Dear Son Show. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Thank you.
Happy Father's Day. People know I don't always about my time, but
yes.
Welcome, man. Happy Father's Day.
Yes, happy Father's Day to you.
What is your father makeup? What's your tree look like?
I got 5 kids, all grown. I love that part.
Yeah, well, I'm learning. I got 3.
Yeah.
3 grown.
Yeah, and I got 7 grands.
You win.
Yeah.
You win. You win. My sister and I gave my parents 7 grands, but I did 5 of it. So I did the heavy lifting.
Yeah.
I did the heavy lifting, man.
That's beautiful.
And that's why you're here, correct? You're here
Yes,
from Florida.
Absolutely.
Here from Florida.
Yeah.
How you feel, man?
I'm relaxed. I'm chill. My mind is relaxed, and I'm at peace today. I'm at peace.
What does that look like? Because I am trying to stay mindful of maintaining peace and being peaceful, because peace to me isn't the absence of chaos.
No,
it's how you navigate through it, or how you remain still through it is my perception of that. But what is a peaceful life? What is your peaceful life consist of?
As a business owner, entrepreneur, and got many things going on, is just having the ability to create a system so that you can compartmentalize your problems. And then when that's done, you can move on and enjoy your day. I'm a big person. I'm big on not procrastinating. I'm huge on that. So, because what happens is I deal with a lot of people who procrastinate. And what happens is the more you procrastinate, the more you wake up with stress, because you wake up knowing I got more things to do, more things to do, more things to do. So I'm a person who likes things down on paper. I give myself a checklist and I write things down on paper. And okay, if I can get, like, let's just say you have 10 things that needs to be done and you're stressing out, oh my God, I got so much to do. Write those 10 things down on paper. Make a goal to get 2 of them done per day. And you realize by the end of 1 week, 5 days, you've got all 10 of them done.
Yeah.
Even if you can't complete them, at least you've touched them. If it was a phone call, if it was a follow-up email, whatever. So it's helping you to declutter your mind so that when you are with your family, you can actually enjoy your time with them.
Man, I'm so glad this is going to go well. So glad you said, because I am 4 years removed from corporate. The last 10 years of my corporate run, not proud of it. My actions prioritize corporate over family.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't intentional, or even that's a cop out. I found success there quicker than I found success in the home. So I doubled down on where I found success.
Absolutely. Understood.
And part of if that's not I'm about to say the bad part, if that's not bad enough, um, what I required of myself in those roles as I progressed, because I ended in senior leadership, and I would I couldn't leave work at work. Like I had the mindset of because of my hue, I have to do thrice as much as the person next to me to get half as, or to get 1/6 of what they got. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I would go to work. I'd be in the office 8 to 8, 9 to 9, 12 hours in the office. Because my programs ran international, when I'm getting off work or when I'm going to bed, programs in Africa and Afghanistan and Iraq are just starting. And I'm dealing with those problems directly. I'd come home, look at my family, eat, then my laptop was right back out because I'd have such an anxiety of waking up to 80 emails. And I created that expectation for myself, and that was my identity.
Yep.
So the minute that I didn't work 20 hours, you know what I'm saying, the perception of me seemed to be negatively impacted. He's
Yep.
not as available as he used to be. And just being out of corporate and finally turning that switch off, and it's still a process, it's still an undoing. It's like, man, I missed a lot. I'm here.
Yeah.
Here every day if I'm not traveling, but I miss so much. What was it? Long-winded question to get to. Have you always been mindful of that, or did life present some coursework for you to get to this point?
No, I wasn't always like that. It's as you get older, you just learn that because it's kind of like life has, I call it the escalator of life. The escalator of life, it doesn't stop. It doesn't care about how you feel. It doesn't care that you lost a loved one. It doesn't care that your relationship is on good ground, bad ground. It doesn't care anything about it. Life will move on. And either you stay on that escalator and try to keep up or you don't. It has no emotions. It just moves. And so therefore you have to learn to create a system to survive it.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
And the more responsibilities, especially since it's Father's Day, we have so many responsibilities. We have so many things going on in our head. And what we do is we try not to burden our family with it. And so we're trying to keep up with this escalator that's constantly moving forward. More demands at work, more demands at home. Everybody needs us, and you get exhausted.
Yeah.
And if the least, let me say it like this, if you don't have a system in place to be able to handle each one of your departments of responsibility, all the different hats that we wear, if you don't have a system around that, you're going to wake up feeling completely overwhelmed all the time. And yet, and here's the biggest problem, you still have to come out of your room and present a packaged man as if you are totally okay with everything.
Still got to show up.
You have to show up. And here's how we show up when we feel overwhelmed as men. Because we have to pretend like we're great at work and keep everybody happy and all these different presentations, that's really not who we are at our core. Unfortunately, the family takes the brunt of it because we end up taking off our corporate hats or business hats, where we have to keep a smile on our face, to keep the whatever, keep everybody happy at work. When we come home, we become our natural, organic, emotional self. And that's where the attitudes show up because we're feeling overwhelmed. And that's not fair to the family because now they're saying, oh, he's always mean. And so even though you're there, they don't want to be bothered with you. And so what happens is the sooner you're able to create a system for each and everything that you're responsible for, it seems like the pressure begins to decrease. Make sense?
That's good, man. I've not even adopted, the way I've categorized my performance as it relates to corporate and home life is corporate got the best of me, my family got the rest of me.
That is so true.
And
oh, wow. That is deep.
I wish I'd have realized that earlier.
Yeah.
But here we are. It's just something that you said I want to make sure we come back to. The burden. my wife, the dynamic with her is me not wanting to create a burden for her, and her knowing I'm burdened burdens her.
That is true.
It doesn't it doesn't actually work the way that I think, and I don't know how, any other men have experienced that, but the more I try to not burden her, it shows up on my face, and she's anxious because she can't read what's going on.
Yeah.
And I've learned, we hit 21 years this past March.
Congratulations.
Appreciate that, man. Hit 21 years, and it took me what it took me to realize that she only wanted to be involved or engaged. She's never been scared of the big problem, the small problem, the I don't have an answer problem. I've always been apprehensive about presenting as if I don't know a thing, and that caused some setbacks. We'll get back to marriage, because I know a thing about what's going on in your relationship, and I know it's going to help some people. But I kind of want to frame out the who of you. Where'd you grow up?
Cali.
What part?
The San Francisco, Oakland area. Yeah.
Man, we had the best time of our life. We went to the Blue Note Jazz Festival outside of Vallejo.
Yep. I know what that is.
We stayed in Vallejo.
Yeah, over the bridge.
It was only 5 or 10 miles from the grounds where they had it. And Oakland was eye-opening. I never really I had a friend that played, one of my partners played for the Raiders, and I never made it while he was there. I never really had a desire to be in California.
Mm-hmm.
And that trip to Oakland was my second trip. The first time I went to LA for part of it, and then down to Carlsbad for a wedding. I think that's right outside of San Diego area. And then the second time was going to San Francisco. It's so different.
Yeah.
So different. But,
yeah, it is.
But Oakland is what's up. The short time I was there, I don't know what I did or didn't see.
Yeah.
But what was your experience?
Well, hey, I grew up there, I still got family down there. So, it was cool for a while. But for me, I'm always just a person who wants to see new.
Yeah.
So, all my family, my siblings are still there in the Bay Area, but me, I just moved around to different places, moved Texas, Cali, and so it was cool. I'll tell you this, it was really nice up until COVID. When COVID,
you were still there?
Yeah. Well, what happened was we just was moving around, and so when I married my wife, she was like, she wanted to move to Cali, so I moved back there for a little while, and it was really nice. We had a good experience there up until COVID. When COVID hit, the shutdown, man, it was so terrible. You couldn't do anything. They still wanted high prices and all these different things, but yet you couldn't do this, you couldn't do that. So we was like, let's just leave. This is not going to work. And so that's when we left. Yeah.
Who was in the house growing up? Say, who was in the house growing up? What was the family makeup?
The way I grew up, it was my mom and dad and my 9 siblings. It was 9 of us in a 3-bedroom home, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, 3-bedroom home. Now my dad, he worked at the post office, but he was always attempting to be an entrepreneur. And so he ended up buying the house next door to us as well and renting that out as extra income.
Gotcha.
And then he also would bake cookies. And so at the job, he was known as the cookie man. So he was working at the post office and selling cookies, and he had one rental property. He always had dreams of building bigger, which is where I kind of learned entrepreneurship. I watched my dad, and I remember he used to talk about real estate, and he used to talk about all these things, but he was limited because he was trying to raise 9 children at the same time.
Yeah.
He was a real man trying to be responsible.
Yeah. Where do you fall in the pecking order of the kids?
4.
Number 4.
Yeah, I'm number 4.
Almost the middle.
Yep.
Middle 3. What was that seat like? Number 4, because I grew up with just me and my sister.
Yeah.
So me having 5 kids is wild.
Yeah.
Like it's an experience that unimaginable. I used to look at people like, man, they have 3 kids, and then we had 3 kids, and we thought we were done. Then my wife kept getting pregnant, man.
Yeah, well, that would happen.
I still ain't figured that one out. But what was and it's interesting watching them because I never had the experience. Me and my sister 5 years apart. So we got cool as adults more than we were as younger siblings.
Mm-hmm.
No beef. It's just like, what is a 12-year-old boy doing with a 17-year-old
that's
girl?
right.
Like, it wasn't there. But what was your vantage point show you about life?
Um, Me being in the middle, I got to see both, but it's kind of like my parents, especially my mom, and she transitioned her style of parenting. So it was kind of like she was really, really strict on the top four, the first four, and then as soon as the next five came, she was relaxed, more relaxed, more relaxed, more relaxed. Kind of like she was going through her own emotional journey of parenting. The first four, she was, doing what she thought was best, of course, but she just relaxed and was a lot more generous, a lot more permissive with my younger siblings.
Yeah.
Like for an example, all my years of growing up, I never spent a night at a friend's house. That was not permitted. She was strict, very, very strict. Nope, you come home. If we go to the corner store, like the disciples, you go two by two.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
She
bro,
was very, very protective, very, very protective of it. But she taught us a lot, each one of my parents, they did their thing to teach us what was right, the right way to do things.
yeah.
Yeah,
Certain things I could only learn. I won't speak for everybody. I could only learn from experience. And I didn't appreciate my father specifically the way I do now until I became a father.
yeah.
Because through the lens of a child, what they're doing is ridiculous if you don't like it. But what does a child know about being an adult raising a child until that child becomes an adult raising a child? So there's a lot of things that I appreciate in the hindsight.
But
How did that experience of seeing the progression of parenting, because that's a lot. Like I said, me is me, and my sister was perfect. She watches the show, but like she got her first C in college. Like I was on punishment from third grade to probably ninth grade for my grades, right? So it wasn't like what they did with her worked with me because
yes,
she didn't cause any problems. But seeing through the lens of, man, 3 above, 5 after, how did that influence the way you approach life as a man
that
and
really
parent?
didn't bother me. You know what really, really, even to this day, impact me more? It's the dynamic between my mom's personality and my dad's personality.
Huh.
My mom's personality, she was, she was the one who I got most whoopings from. She was
Really?
the quick tempered one. But my dad, on the other hand, he was really chill. He was very methodical. Even when we got in trouble, he would work 12 hours and come home. He would never even, sometimes he wouldn't even address the issue because he said in his mind, and I figured, he talked about this later on when he got older, I don't want to do things out of anger.
Yeah.
And so he was very methodical, and he would sit us down and talk to us about what his expectations were, making sure you understood what was going on, what you should and should not have done representing the family. My mother was more of, she gonna take care of this right now, right? But my dad, he was just very chill. And as we got older, my dad and I, when we actually lived here in Texas, we were so close until I had my house built, and I helped him build his house around the corner for me, and we was just cool like that.
Yeah.
So I had learned a lot about relationships from him, and watching what happened between my mother and my father. One of the things that devastated me the most was to watch them get divorced.
Why? How? At what stage was this for you? How old were
I
you?
was still in my teens, young
Okay.
teens, like 12 or whatever. And just watching what happened, going through that experience, and
Mm.
you don't want to see that. And what happened, you remember I just told you that my dad had bought the house next door and was renting it out? When they were separating, he also did weekend duty in the military. And
Wow.
one weekend while he was in military duty, my mom had us participate in moving our father's stuff next door. And so when he got back from weekend duty, he was next door. And what was strange is because,
Wow.
watch this, my mother, she would constantly complain about what my father did, just constantly complaining about what my father did. Not saying it was right or wrong. Well, I'm young. I don't know. To this day, I don't get involved in that part of the story. But what I do say is that when it came to my dad, he never said a bad word. Never. And he, watch this was so important. He told us we are not permitted to say a bad word about my mother. But on the other hand, my mother was saying bad things about him all the time. So on one hand, you're getting indoctrinated against one parent. On the other hand, you're not permitted to say a single word against the other.
Yeah.
So you have this contrast in your head. What do you do as you're growing up? So you learn to be in between both.
Well, the dynamic with my parents, my mom beat me one time. And because of that one time, my pops said she can never beat me again. Because with her, it took so much to get there. And I haven't mentioned this in years, but I did something like some chores or something to be helpful.
Yes.
My goal was to be helpful. She tried to pay me for it. I said, I don't want the money. But coming from her background, you don't like money. Money is not that money is important, but be grateful that
Yes.
money's not plentiful. So be grateful that I'm giving you this $2. I cut the $2 up.
Did you?
She lost it.
Did you?
Yeah, I certainly did. Certainly did. She lost it. And that was the only time my dad was like, nah, you can't. Now, my dad beat me often. Now, well, but he beat me as I deserved because I want to make sure I frame it right.
Yeah, that's right.
Because of standards of then, it's not what one may reference it as today. But as I pushed the limit, he reminded me that I was beyond the limit.
Yes.
And I did that often. But my mom, it would take so much for her to get there. And I remembered that about her. And it wasn't that she had an anger problem, but it was like, it hurt me more that I got her there than the actual whipping.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm sure the whipping in the moment was terrible,
Yeah.
but like I felt bad about that after. Seeing that in your teen years, you're moving into early manhood.
Mm-hmm.
Like what is that stage of life like for you?
So I carried a thought in my head for many years. I said, because when I had got married the first time, I was in my head, I was always in the back of my mind, how long, because I didn't keep dates in my head. I just knew they got divorced when they was young, I was younger. But as I had gotten older, I kept wanting to figure out, okay, so how many years did they remain married? Because I want to break that curse. In my first, I do not want to be the person who goes through a divorce because of what I saw through them. And unfortunately, in my first marriage, I ended up divorced. And it was almost around the same amount of time. And I was devastated. Because I said that was one of my main goals, is to never be divorced because of what I saw. And yet here I am.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And so here's
absolutely.
And that's kind of why people, contact me, because that put me on a journey to start researching relationships as a whole. I started researching it. And I went to school for psychology and all those things, but I don't want to hear the textbook version of it. God has his own version of relationships, and the textbook versions is different, And so I wanted to research and find out, okay, what is really going on? What is some of the root causes of why relationships fall apart? Mine shouldn't have fell apart. What's going on? And that also led me into a very, very deep experience, which was very life-changing. I was working at this huge ministry out here through one community, and they had a divorce and separation care ministry here. And I participated in that for many, many years. I was one of the instructors in it. And I got to see not just what happened to my own relationship, not what happened to my parents' relationship, but I got to see, brother, everybody's for years. And I got to sit there and hear their stories as to what led up to their divorce. I'm sitting across the table. I'm teaching classes. I've even been invited as a guest speaker to people who are broken, going through relational challenges and divorces. And that didn't matter whether you was in the church or out of it. And people think just because you go to church, it's going to make a difference. But the truth of the matter is, it does not.
Right.
Because if you're doing the same dumb things that everybody else is, you're going to get the same dumb results, whether you say hallelujah or whether you're cussing and drinking a beer at the bar.
Or both.
Or you got it. Or both.
Yeah.
So I saw a lot.
Man, that's you said one community. I not that I have done research on many churches, but to hear that is a ministry kind of struck a chord with me because the faith that the denomination that I grew up in, divorce was frowned upon to the extent where I didn't know people were actually divorced in the church.
Yes.
I found out later in life, oh no, they've been, but I guess and it's not about denomination versus denomination, but
Right.
like if people are hurting, there needs to be a care
That is the
for,
point.
yeah,
That's why I respected what they did, because they weren't trying to tuck and hide in them, and it was open to the public. So to be honest with you, the number of people who came through there, which was a large number, we never really know. Some we knew went to church, but some were just off the street because it was after their church hours, and they just wanted to open us up to the general population, to the community, because they knew that this is a problem. People are broken, you're hurting, and they need help. And so that's what took place, and I saw it kind of like made you, I was talking to, a mutual friend of ours, Nate, about this.
Yeah.
And I said, it made me too good at what I do, but it's not to brag about it, because you don't want to be good at understanding relationships on what can make them go wrong. And I told him last night, I said, hey, I said, my wife's car, because I got remarried, and we'll talk about that momentarily, but my wife's car, I was driving it, and I heard this tick, 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 tick.
oil change.
Shortly afterwards, and I paid it no mind. I said, I think I'm gonna go check into this, and because I know what that sound is. I used to work on cars, so I said, I think I know what that sound is, but I'm gonna check into it later. And I'm regretting that I didn't take care of it sooner. You know why? Because my intuition was right. The tick 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 sound that I heard out of my left ear, it was the sound of a nail in the tire. But see, the tire wasn't flat when I was driving, so I didn't pay that much mind to it. A few days later, my wife was driving. She called me, "Oh, my tire needs air." See, and that's what happens now in relationships. When people are in a relationship, I can just sit around them for like 5 or 10 minutes and I already know, okay, oh my God. It's kind of like it's like a sixth sense in my head. Oh my God, this is not going to work out the way. If it does survive, they're going to have a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Because I've been trained to hear certain things. And within 10, 15 minutes, maximum 30 minutes of hearing couples talk, I can kind of, I already know where this is going. I already know where that's going. I already know where this is going. I don't say anything because it's not my place. Because if I just jump in and start telling people, hey, you better fix it because you're going to be, possibly having a very, very rocky relationship, or you're going to be in a divorce court soon.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that because it's not my place to do it.
Yeah.
But I know where it goes.
Going through that process of hearing the stories, understanding the stories, and the supplemental education that you gathered along the way sounds, I guess, one or two extremes in my mind, and this is only my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Either heavy or possibly could possibly inflate your ego to where you believe you're an expert and you can kind of shape your next relationship because you know everything about relationships. What was your experience? Okay, heavy.
It's too heavy. The Bible says God hates divorce. I hate it too. I'm an anti-divorce advocate. I hate divorce. I hate what it's going to do. I hate what it does to people. I hate what it does to children. But the problem is most people don't have a real answer for it. They don't have an answer. So let me tell you about my experience.
Yeah.
When I got divorced, I was bitter. I was still angry. I was married the first time for 27 years. Yeah, 27 years first time. Terrible. And it ended. And the way it ended without me fully understanding why it ended. And so therefore, I'm left with questions that I have no answers to. And then I meet another woman who is just beautiful to me, very kind and beautiful. And then I got married to her. And the first 3 years of that marriage was problematic. It was terrible. Now, mind you, this is before I worked at one community church and heard everybody else's and learned. When I entered into that one, I already had a mindset that you know what? I'm really not tripping. It was kind of like I loved her, but I had one emotional foot in the door, one emotional foot out the door, because guess what? I done already went to court now. I know exactly what court I'm going to be at. I know exactly what judge I'm going to be in front of. I don't even need to hire an attorney. You know why? Because I already know what the attorney going to say. Why pay another, watch this, mouthpiece to speak for me when I already know what you're going to say now? I can handle this whole thing. So whatever. I'm not tripping. So it was like every month we were talking divorce for 3 years in the second marriage. That made no sense at all. That was crazy. But there was one day where God said, "You're about to lose your best friend." I never forget it. That's all he said. "You're about to lose your best friend." And it was kind of like he told her the same thing about the same time. And so what we did was we went to, in Frisco, they had a little lake area where you can sit out. I forgot what they call it. It's a little area where you can sit out. They got the little ice cream place right there off of Legacy. And we started just going on dates again. And this time we did something different, brother. When we went on dates, instead of talking about issues, which couples make the big mistake, always want to talk about issues, to be counselors, to talk about issues. Big mistake, by the way. What we did, we just sat down, we began to talk about how we grew up. And when we did that the first date, it was kind of like surface conversation. You know, she shared, I shared.
Yeah.
She shared, I shared. And then we did that date again. I call it the ice cream date. We went back, bought a little ice cream, we shared ice cream, we began to share a little bit more. And I noticed something. There was a breaking that happened. Because on the second date, we began to shed tears together. On the third date, it was like the floodgates were open. And it was like God was saying, "Do you see what's going on? It's two little kids constantly fighting because of her experience when she was growing up and the experience I told you about what I saw when I was growing up with my parents and what I saw.
Yeah.
And the two children on the inside is running the adults on the outside in this relationship. And we begin to get an aha moment. We need to help each other heal. Because if we keep on the path we're on, I was definitely going to be at that court a second go round for a second divorce.
I have a brother, not by blood, but somebody I consider my brother, who is at your year 27 point of his first marriage. The frustration, because I dare not, the frustration that he shares is, I don't know why this is happening.
Yes. Yes. But you know, here's the strange thing. It's beautiful how God put things together. It's so easy. Can I talk to him?
Yeah.
All right, let me look at it. Let me give you some tips. The Bible says, "With love and kindness have I drawn thee." You heard that before, right?
Yes, sir.
But we say it wrong. We say it wrong. It goes right over our heads. I tell people, slow down. You're saying it too fast. I said, repeat it again. God says, "With love and kindness have I drawn you to me." Okay? Follow this logic.
Yeah.
Follow this logic.
Yes.
A lot of couples, they love each other,
Okay.
but there's no kindness in that relationship. Think about every relationship that is having turbulence right now as we speak.
I can think about me.
Every relationship that has turbulence has the one thing in common. They have love most of the time, unless they're at the point where they hate each other, but they didn't originally get there. So there was a point where you loved each other, but the absence of the kindness, you're not drawn to each other. Just like if you believe that God loves you, but you think he's not kind to you, how close would you be to God? And this is the reason why a lot of people reject God. They don't think he loves them, and they don't think he's kind. He's mean. I don't want to be bothered. See, so when you have these two, let me say to you like this. Let me ask you a question. I know you're interviewing me. Is it okay?
It's conversation.
Okay, cool.
I
Here's
don't
the
do
question.
interviews since I left corporate.
Here's the question to you. Have you ever figured out KFC's 11 herbs and spices?
Mm.
No, you haven't. We haven't either. But you know what's funny about relationships? God said, I already gave you my 11 herbs and spices. He said, I only got 2 seasonings. The 2 seasonings, I gave it to you when I told you how I got you. Love and kindness. Those are the only 2 seasonings you need to make a relationship function peacefully. You don't need all these other things that you're doing. You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You're going to counselor. You're trying to seek out all these different things, and yet it still's not. Let me show you what a counseling session looks like. You go to the counseling session. I told you I'd study psychology on this too. I studied relationship. I studied. So you get, and I'm not against counseling, but to a point, some point I am kind of have a bias against it. But here's what happens. So John, did you hear what Susan said? Yeah, I heard what he said, but he didn't hear what I said. And and John, did you hear what she said? Yeah, but yeah. And then oftentimes these couples leave counseling sessions angrier than the time they walked in there. And they're pissed. You know why? Because they're all making the same mistake. You want to talk about your issues. And we were doing that same mistake, talking about our issues. And I'm talking about, my marriage now, because I've been married 12 years to my second wife.
Salute.
Okay. Talking about issues, and that is not going to solve it. And so when we got back to that conversation, when we went on what I call the ice cream date, you know what instantly began to happen in my head and in hers? We just started being more gentle and kind to each other. Because now I understand you, not the grown person you are today. Yes, you're this beautiful woman. You got degrees on the wall. Yes, I'm a man with an entrepreneur. I'm trying to do these things, shaking and baking and doing what I can. But beneath all of that, there was fractured souls and little kids. And so we begin to just be more gentle with each other. And brother, I promise you, it's so beautiful. We're sitting here today, as I'm talking to you, celebrating 8, going on 9 years without a single argument.
Now, here's I'm gonna let you cook, because not even arguing healthy.
No, we don't argue.
Proceed.
We don't agree on everything, but it's not argument.
Yeah, I'm gonna sit my, okay.
Yeah.
You may have just answered it, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, we don't agree on everything, but it doesn't turn into an argument. It's not necessary. It's not necessary because I've been saying this for years, and only a few couples, and I can have them on my hand, actually goes against what I say. And here's what I've been saying for years. People love to be right rather than to be together. I'm going to repeat that. People love to be right rather than to be together. I have seen over the years dealing with people going through divorce that when you go down to the root of how they ended up in divorce, it was stupid. You put so much emphasis on that argument at the demise of the person who you say you love. You just had to win, no matter what the cost was. And now they're paying for it. And I'm not willing to lose her over a discussion that we can just, hey, she has her thought process. I have mine. It's not the same. Okay, I heard her. And I think that was what was more important, to make sure that the person is heard. We don't have to agree, but I just want to make sure she understands my perspective and she has hers. And I have to honor that. She's not me and I'm not her. So yeah, let's talk about it. We come to a compromise, that's fine. But it doesn't have to turn into an argument, because I don't want to fracture that little girl in her. And she don't want to fracture that little boy in me. So you want to protect the person at this point. So the argument is not going to be the principal core. It's the person on the inside. I still got to protect this person.
Man, I have been, so that's something I had to, I won't even say unlearn. I had to let go, because I knew in the moment that it wasn't the right thing, but I would, and I've said it before, I knew how to weaponize words without it sounding offensive in tone, but I knew what it was doing. And it was kind of calculated, like, I'm saying these words, so if these words are repeated that I said them to the third party, it doesn't sound like I'm on the attack, but I knew how to say a thing in a way that checks the box of me saying what I felt, but also cut a little bit. And it you that the love and kindness is I doubt that was enough for me, because I think what happens sometimes is that love can be confused and accepted as a duty, and the kindness weaponized. I gotta love you. I love you. I got to. Like, that's even if you do, I do love you, right? Even if it's genuine, how genuine can it be without it? But just the perspective of, I love you, but this kindness, you don't qualify for my kindness today.
And that's why we have marital problems. Because you can't have one without the other. They must. Listen, there's a lot of people that you can probably think of. You be like, man, that's such a nice person. Have you ever met people they're just so nice. They're just really nice people.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy their company?
At this stage, yes.
Okay.
It used to rub me, but why are you so nice? I used to be that kind of person.
Yeah. See, here's the deal. A nice person, they draws company.
Yeah.
Because it's just so nice. You know what? They're a beacon of light in this dark world. Because it's not too many nice people. Let me take this a different way. I was talking with a couple the other day. And I said, everybody wants to have this successful relationship. But I said, we glorify having attitudes. Yeah, everybody got an attitude. And then you still want to have a successful relationship. And when you compare it to God's simple seasonings of love and what? Kindness. I said, think about what's going on in your relationship. You have an attitude. Is that being nice? No. Okay, and you wonder why they don't want to be around you. See, it's very simple. Attitude repels people. Kindness draws people. Why is it so difficult for us to understand this? If you want your spouse or significant other to draw close to you, like you want God, like God is trying to draw you close to him, you have to just simply, they know you love them, but it's not reflected. Because I'll never forget, a friend told me, love is an action word. You say you love me, but your actions are telling me you want to be repelled. You want distance because there's no kindness. Anywhere where there's peace and joy and happiness, people rush there. You don't even have to invite people. They want, it's like a moth to a flame. They will be drawn to you. And my wife, who I'm married to now, very, very nice. The phone is always ringing with people calling her, seeking out her wisdom, asking to hang out with her and she doesn't ask for it. It's just because she's so kind. So she draws people to her, including me. But people with attitudes, anger issues, they repel people. Why? Because I don't know what mood you're in. And let me take this a step further, so I'm okay with that. Let me help you with something. And let me speak to this camera. I want to help some of you guys. You know, men who are considered abusive, here's what it sounds like. I'm the king of this castle. I'm the head of this house. I run this show. And what would all women say? Girl, you need to leave him. He's what? Narcissistic. Okay. He's chauvinistic. We got all these words. But ladies, I have a question for you. In a man's eye, when he hears happy wife, happy life, if mama ain't happy, how many people get to be happy?
That phrase,
nobody.
That phrase is absolutely banned on this show. We don't believe that
happy
at all.
Wife, happy life. If his mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. How is that different from him? And in our house, we don't have that.
Right.
In fact, I'm working on a book now called Happy Us, We Don't Fuss. Because both of us need to be happy. And how do we be happy? I'm just not happy in this relationship. You know why people are not happy in their relationship? Because there's the absence of kindness. When kindness and love is present, it's hard to resist that. It's so attractive. That's why God uses those two seasonings to draw us, because it's so attractive. It's sexy.
What was the change that you first noticed about you in the year one of the 8 or 9 year run that you on? Like, what was the thing that you caught yourself in the mirror one day, was like, dude, you should have been like, this is different about me. I am stark contrast from argue season to non-argue season. What things did you start to notice about you when that change happened?
I became more peaceful in this house. I started enjoying my home. That's what made the difference, brother. I enjoyed being home. You know how many men park in
Yes.
you know how we're both men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to take the long way home.
Yeah.
And it's not because, for me, it was because I knew I wasn't showing up at home.
Yeah.
So I stayed while I was celebrated.
Yes.
But if I'm not giving you a reason to celebrate at home, I can't apply the
Yes.
logic that I want to,
Yeah.
though I did.
Yeah. Think of it like this. Again, using simple logic. Because when I talk to couples, I also explain this. I say, when you're at work, you have a boss, you have customers. I say, you're always trying to smile and you're trying to do what's right at the job, right? I said, but then you provide good customer service, and we need to talk about that too if we have a moment.
Yeah.
I said, you provide good customer service at your job, but you provide terrible customer service at home. Why are you being so nice to your boss and everybody else who irks your nerves, but you keep your attitude in check with them, but then you come home
Unleash.
and wonder why we having marital problems?
Because you done held it together all day. It's almost like it's almost as if there's an expectation or a right to explode, right? And you think it's a measured approach to not do it here because of the fiscal impact it'll have on your family. And I know a lot of men, including myself, tied their worth to their fiscal capabilities, project like where are we going.
Yes.
Often that conversation starts with money in some minds. Now I've learned to think differently now. Money is important, but I had to become somebody different because who money was exposing that I wasn't really deserving of the money with who I was at the time. Like I wasn't stewarding things well across my life. So to think that more money somehow changed how I felt about a thing that I haven't resolved, all it did was give me another opportunity to be distracted from the thing that I need to resolve because money gives you more access to different
Yes.
things.
Yeah. It's just a distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a Band-Aid over a problem.
Yeah.
It is. But for me, because I have peace at home, I know every day when I wake up, and we both, you have to earn, you have to do what you have to do for your family. That's stressful enough. But if you can alleviate the pressure of knowing that when you come home, that it's going to be peace in that home.
Yeah.
I'm no longer taking the long road home. I'm taking the freeway.
I'm working from home.
I'm trying to get, there you go. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. For an example, let me tell you something. When COVID hit, I'll never forget this. When COVID hit, there was, you check your statistics. There were so many people who were talking about divorce and getting divorced. You want to know why? Because when COVID hit, it forced them to be at home with each other longer than they're normally doing.
Yeah, they met their spouse.
Yeah, they actually had to spend time with that person,
Yeah.
and they realized, I don't like you.
Yeah.
But what was crazy with us, it was like heaven to us. I'm with her all the time, even more.
I never went back to the office.
Yeah, see, but that's because I enjoy my house.
Yeah.
I enjoy who I'm with.
Like a meeting,
Yeah,
Zoom,
yeah,
you need me to come to the office to talk to y'all,
yeah,
make it make sense.
yeah. But see, it wasn't even just about the job. It was the fact that I enjoyed who I dwell with.
Yeah, that's important.
So it didn't make it. So when people were losing their heads because now, oh my God, this person, and I heard people say, oh my God, my spouse is working my last nerve. I can't wait till COVID is over. I'm saying in my head, I'm enjoying who I'm with.
Yeah.
This is just amazing. I love it
Like
because I loved who I'm with.
I selected well when it came to
Yes.
COVID. I'm like, man, hearing the story. And the thing about it is, man, I want people to be honest with themselves, and specifically men. Like, address the thing that you hate about you that you're calling her.
That's true.
Like what is it? What is it that you don't like about you that's easier to not fix that than it is to just point to what irks you about her because you're already irritated with you?
You know why men don't have time to deal with all that? Their heart surgery? Because that's what it is. It's a heart surgery. It's because you're out there pretending to be the superhero on the job. You got to come back home and be the provider. You got to be the husband. You got to wear all these hats. So you so used to all pretending, wearing all these hats, and you might as well carry a backpack with hats in them, saying one that says husband, one that says father, one that says bill payer, one that says son, one that says supervisor, one that says employee, whatever. And you just swap them out every day. Just keep your backpack on. You swapping hats. So you're used to pretending all the time. So then the question is, when I'm supposed to do all this hard work, which person am I supposed to be talking to?
I think that's where it gets scary is when you put on the costume to go in your house.
That's right.
Where initially you thought you were putting on a costume to go to work, but you became that person.
Yes, correct.
And you come home and
you're okay with this new identity because this is the way you found a way to watch this, what we initially talked about, finding your balance. But your balance, the way you're doing it, it's toxic, but it works for you. Problem is, you see that it's crumbling everything else around you, but this is how you learn to survive your experiences. And now you don't have an authentic you anymore. So when, you tell a guy, I need to, you need to really work on, finding you and your core. And I divorced myself a long time. Watch what I just said. I divorced myself a long time ago to become these hats that I wear. And now you're trying to tell me to resurrect me? Where? Who am I resurrecting? I don't even know me no more. That's why I'm exhausted. That's why I'm angry. That's why I'm frustrated. And therefore, this is where coming home and creating this zone of peace in the home gives you the luxury of time back to say, okay, I'm no longer, one hat has come out of my bag, which is constantly figuring out how do I get through this relationship today? Because maybe she come up with an attitude, I got an attitude. If you remove that one hat out of the bag, guess what? It leaves room in that bag now for you to begin to rediscover who am I? And when you're going through the process of rediscovering who am I now, you also have a mate who's willing to watch this, help you. In fact, watch this. I told you God is so smart. We read scripture and we just say it we just say stuff so quick, brother. We just talk, we just bump our gums and we don't slow down really to understand what God was actually saying. So in the beginning, when God created marriage, he said, Adam, I'm going to give you what he said, watch this, a help meet. The word help meet means capable partner. That's what it actually means. She's not weaker than you. She's a capable partner to help you in your journey. The problem is you've been arguing back and forth until you don't see her as a capable partner. You see her as an irritant. But the moment you guys are now functioning on the level through love and kindness, and now this house is totally at peace, as you're going to rediscover who you are and get these hats out of your backpack, she's right there as your capable partner to love with love and kindness, help you, baby, you're okay. Then you'll begin to find a moment, and this was really a beautiful moment for me. I called her my green tea angel because there were many times I would just come and just sit with her, and she would get off work, make herself a cup of green tea. I'm with her. This is and I know I'm going to say this, and some people going to be, oh, whatever. See, this is why you have bad relationships, and we have a beautiful one after 12 years. Because you want instantaneous man. You don't want to build with a man. You want instantaneous man. This woman build with me. I'm with her. We're dating. We're hanging out. But she had the common sense to recognize that this man is still hurting because 27 years of his life just blew up in smoke and he still didn't know what happened. And so she would come home from work, make herself a cup of green tea, and we'd just chop it up about what happened, how my heart was feeling that day. And I found myself oftentimes crying in front of her because she was, watch this, I hear this term a lot of times, safe space. You
Yeah.
hear that a lot, right?
Yeah.
The problem is in the home, it's no longer a safe place. And it should be. And she became a safe place for me. And I began to cry as a man to my woman, and she never used it against me. And that's another thing that goes wrong in these relationships. Men don't want to open up to their woman because they know as soon as an argument happens, guess what? Later on, she's going to use that same thing against him or vice versa.
Yeah.
Again, there is no kindness in that relationship. If you were kind, you wouldn't be weaponizing what a person says in their vulnerable moment to you. That's not kind. And what you're training them to say, you're training your significant other is to never tell you anything ever again. And you wonder why they don't open up to you because you are not a safe space. The moment you weaponize what they said to you, they will never say anything to you again. You've severed that relationship, even though you're still together. That makes sense.
Perfect sense. I want to ask a question where the answer may already be obvious.
Sure.
Because I want to give somebody hope, right?
Sure.
The fixing you part of it did what for your wife that became a benefit to you? Am I asking it clear?
Mm-mm.
So you working on you was worth it, right? We always want to look at what they're doing,
Yes.
right? But as you worked on you, I'm sure your wife received you differently.
Yes.
Maybe her actions changed, or she showed up differently for you. Like what was the benefit that you got from her by working on you? I want men to know that it actually does work.
It does.
If I'm just working on me, but she still ain't fixing her, the focus is not for her to fix her. But as you became more available and present with her, like what did you receive?
I'm going to take it a different direction.
Let's hear it.
Because here's, again, where we make mistakes. We want to fix this, want to fix that. And the truth is, some things cannot be fixed until it is loved upon. Because there was absence of love and absence of kindness that sometimes created the scenario in the first place. And therefore, you cannot fix something with tools that you don't have. So constantly trying to fix this and figure this out and reading these books. And I read so many books, brother, over the years on relationships, on how, not just relationships in marriages and dating, but relationships with ourselves. What does that even look like? All these different fixers. And the truth of the matter is, they all needed two ingredients. They needed love and they needed kindness. They needed restoration of the soul.
Mm.
Some things you can just, you can be loved out of. You can be loved out of it. That's what we did for each other. We stopped coming at each other. We stopped trying to figure out how to fix each other. You're going to be on the journey of trying to fix yourself for the rest of your life if you do that. And you'll never be happy because here's what I did. I did this. Man, I was going book after book after book. And the okay, so you got to fix this. Okay, now, and literally, this is what I stopped because I was reading this book. Okay, I got to fix this part of me. And then, okay, then I read the next one. I got to fix this part of me. Soon you have 30 books later, you still trying to fix yourself. Fix. And there was never a point to celebrate any growth in me until we just stopped. I said, you know what? I'm going to stop all this. Let me just enjoy the moment. Let me just enjoy peace for a moment. Let me just enjoy her kind presence in the moment. Let me smile in the moment. When's the last time people actually genuinely just sat and had a genuine smile from the soul? We don't. And it's because we're missing the simple ingredients. We're doing everything but what he said to do. We're running around like chickens with their head cut off.
Mm.
And so what we do is we just spend time together. All the time. We go walking all the time. Sometimes we don't even talk. You know what we do when we go to walking? We go 3-5 miles sometimes. We just walk all the time. I just want her around me. I don't even need to talk about nothing. I feel so at peace around her. I'm at peace with me. And when you become a peaceful man, you become peaceful to everybody. She's a joyful woman. She brings joy to everybody. All it took I just needed some kindness in my soul. It was so simple, brother. Sometimes we would listen to an audiobook and because these new phones, you can connect two headsets together or connect two headsets together. Yeah. And we listening to the same
Taught
audiobook
me.
while we're walking together, listening to an audiobook. You know what? Here's the reason why. Because her kindness and her love is so pure. And I try to give it back to her until, like I told Nate, our mutual friend, when he said, "Hey, you coming down?" I said, "Yeah." He says, "Nancy coming down?" I said, "Brother, you already know. It's like we like two butt cheeks. When we see one, you gonna see the other."
But here's the thing: I knew that from what I saw, not knowing you, I knew she was coming.
You see?
No, I knew. I knew for a fact when I looked out the door.
Right.
I was like,
I don't like being away from her.
Yeah.
That's the point. You can create such an environment of love and restoration to the point where you don't even like being away from each other, because in this evil world, this is the one place, this is the one person that I enjoy. And I don't even have to be in conflict with myself, dealing with all the different things. When I come into this relationship, it is so peaceful. This is my zone. I don't go to the man cave to get away from everybody. I need a big old man cave because I need to get away from her. I need to get away from the kid. I need to get away from everybody. No, she is my man cave. Because we've created this beautiful environment for each other. And we just love each other. Just like God wants us to be drawn to him through love and kindness, I'm drawn to her like a moth to a flame because of her love and kindness. She's so kind. In fact, watch this. One of the things that transitioned in our relationship, you know how you have these Amazon reviews?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I literally, and by the way, just a few months ago, I competed in a speaking contest. It was a global contest called Next Talk Speaker. They had thousands of contestants, thousands of them. I placed top 10 globally in speaking. And you know what I talked about? This very thing. I said, I'm competing for her review. At the end of the day, I want to get a score that I provided the best customer service I possibly could for that day. And here's the deal. When you got two people who are both waking up every morning trying to compete to get the top spot as far as getting a customer review from their spouse, where is the room for arguments and debates?
Unfortunately, brother, people will continue to find that space and continue to not get the results that they want.
Yeah. Well, we had learned it through an experience.
But you helped several today, man. You've helped several today, man.
Thank you.
Before we get out of here,
Sure.
You mentioned your book. I think that'd be a perfect opportunity to have another conversation. Whether I have to come to you or you find yourself here, I would like to open that door. But what's going on with you? Where can the people find you? Can you talk more about the book release, or is it still
It's still a work in progress.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's still a work in progress. The conflicts of life is on. I don't post much on Instagram like I should, but I'm on Instagram. The conflicts of life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's where I'm at.
Well, I appreciate you making this happen.
Thank you.
I don't take it
for
lightly
having me.
that you would, while you have a limited amount of time here, that you would offer some of it to me. I found value in it. Hopefully you found it valuable as well.
Thank you for having me.
Very encouraging, man. Very encouraging for those that are doing it for the first time, for those that are finding themselves in a second chance scenario. I think what you've discussed is valuable without respect to what year you're in, what marriage. So hopefully that resonated with the audience. That's gonna do it for this episode. We appreciate you guys. God bless you. Peace.